for their help in ISC regarding the lab coat, and Pankaj Bhai, Bhavna ji and Poonam ji for all their help during the lockdown, and Poonam ji especially for this painting, and all my batchmates for everything in these 2 years, and my faculty from my bachelor, Dr. Michael Levin, Kalyan Kumar, and my Kobe friends, the Karnataka Forest Department for giving me permission to collect all these ant specimens, and Negi ji for all his help, and God for his grace upon me. And thank you for joining me on this journey with ants. And for your information, this thing is not an ant, the other ant. This is just an earthworm, Arboreal earthworm found in the domain of a plant, Composition Bruno. It's found in Western Ghats. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Chabul, for speaking well within time. So, if you have questions.
Shakur, a very good presentation, very nice work. If I remember, or even if you remember my question when you were defending your proposal, I think I have to go back to the same question, that define a landscape for the ant. Because the ants which are present in my home, inside my house, are different than the ants in the land outside my house. So I think when we are talking about the diversity, when we are talking the composition, when we are talking the richness, what's the landscape which we are talking about? Okay, and how we define that particular landscape, right? So that's like how you have come across, like there is a variation, like in terms of a community structure or in terms of a richness from one species, one particular aspect, other particular aspect. So I have not seen anything you talking about the area sample in these particular different habitats. How far was this area? What was the number of plots which were close to the forest edge? What were the number of plots which were, like when you have sampled your plots, the information which should have collected should be the size, should be the distance from the edge, distance from any other habitat type, distance from any unique features in that particular landscape, because these are the parameters which are going to influence the species richness or community structure of the ants in a particular landscape, considering that, like we know that like history strategies, how far they can go, where they can all that. And then third important aspect which I would have visualized is the presence of less number of the species or the specialized species not found in coffee plantations. Is it because of the leaf litter or is it because of the use of the pesticides in these coffee plantations? So like if or what type of species then come in these coffee plantations which are resistant to the use of the pesticides then in the coffee plantations? And also, like, I don't know much about the ants, but we have one guest faculty who came here from, I think, from Punjab University or somewhere, to give a talk on ants. So he also talked about a lot of invasive species. Probably in ants they call them trump species. So, was there any such species in our area, coffee plantation versus other plantations? And if there were trump species present, was there any effect on the native species richness or community structure with respect to the presence of these trump species?
So I will just start up with from backwards, the question about the trump species. I found trump species this Endogracian, which is an essentially invasive species, which was found only in the coffee plantations. I really didn't check for the effect of this species on other ant communities as such. But this species, studies generally have found that these ant communities, because they are found in huge numbers, they can grow up in huge numbers and might exert effect on the other ant species that are generally low in terms of their colony size and are having specific diet specifications. These are very generalist. They tend to they are act as scavengers and whatever. So I really didn't check the effect of this specific species on other species. And coming up to the question on, I didn't say how many sites I had. So I had like 3 sites for 3 fragments, and four native coffee plantations, two silver plantations, and two forest sites. So overall, I had 11 sites, and transects were laid in such a manner, and all of these sites were in the size class of 8 to 10 hectares, except for those forest sites, though. And although these sites are spread out in the landscape, all the landscape matrix variables like what is adjacent to the coffee plantation or the fragment were essentially same, because like every site had a road nearby to it and its coffee and its paddy growth. But I really didn't check the quality of the matrix. These all if you consider this as matrix, I really didn't check the quality of the matrix, but all of the landscape variables were accounted for while selecting the sites, because all these were remaining same across all the sites. And transects were laid randomly across the sites so that they are spread out. So I really didn't check out the effect of edge as such, but some of the transects ended up at the edge, some were in the interior, some were not in the interior or the edge, like lying in between also. And yeah, defining landscape for ant will be a tricky question. Which I don't think I might be able to answer it now, but I'll try to answer it later too.
Yeah, it's a nice presentation.
Thank you.
We can try to look the nutrient extraction capabilities. Okay, so these ecosystems have a different capability. Or corroborating some of the countries information what nutrients are. Second question, I presume that these are species which are very sensitive to microbiome. And I expect to have a, what is called the adaptive functional richness. So any species which is much more thermal problem, that this adaptive functional richness of the species, that all are functionally similar.
So coming up to this question, second question. So that was part of my second objective in my proposal, which I couldn't do because I couldn't continue the lab work in IISc because of the lockdown and corona issues, which I will definitely try to do it in the later part after this is done. And I hope to find some differences. And the microhabitat requirements and all, I took measures of soil, temperature and moisture level, which are known to influence ant speciesness, but I really couldn't analyze the data because of time and other variables that were affected during the sampling period, like the transects were laid from morning 10 to 12, and from all this duration I used to measure hazard variables whenever I was laying a pitfall trap. So during this time, let's say I'm measuring the temperature of the soil. So it varied across the day. And that is some of the days were really raining, some of the days were really sunny. So I didn't have a control for that. So I really don't want it to include that also. So that's why I didn't include all these in the analysis, the temperature and moisture levels.
Shakur, there's a question from Manpreet Singh. I'm just going to read it out here. He says, in the initial slides you mentioned about determining impact of land use change on ant communities. However, he's skeptical that you are actually able to do so because the effect of land use change over the years wasn't examined. So you don't have the historical data on how the land use has changed. Because land use type and land use change are different and can be used interchangeably, is what he says.
So I hadn't looked at the effect of change in land use as such over time, but I just have looked at a time frame, or like a snapshot of the land use change, land use type, with snapshot, see how these communities are varying with land use. So if it is possible in future, try to do it with the change, how the communities will change. Thank you. That can see the slider.
curious. You said the richness in increase as you move away from coffee plantation. Is that what you said?
No. So from forest to coffee plantations, the richness decrease. So forest has the highest species richness. Let's say transects can speaking of transects. So forest has the highest species richness at transects, and coffee plantations had lower species richness at transects.
I want to ask you, when you compare with similar habitats across the world, is that the natural level of species that you find? Is that how do you explain it?
That thing I haven't done, but I don't think that will be a real good measure because the local richness also matters, right? Like if you go away from tropics to temperate regions, the local species richness will decrease. Probably we might have to look at the magnitude of change.
Yeah, that's why following up on Boris's question, Vinas's question also, the scale and the microhabitat really matters, and it doesn't seem like you use that as a measure to look at business as well. So what do you plan to next in this pattern?
So I would like to look at for the microhabitat variables which I have collected and try to see if I can use them properly to incorporate and then try to use them to explain the pattern which I got.
Yeah. So there's a question from Rohit Jha. He's asking if you compared organic and non-organic coffee plantations for differences in species richness.
Not really. I hadn't classified them as organic and non-organic because, and especially the insecticide part, that was the data was gathered by talking with the coffee plantation owners and as part of my field study, field observations, because a lot of these coffee plantations, that was picking season, they use insecticides so that they don't get attacked by Camptogaster and beaver ants because they are present on the coffee and they nest in the coffee trees. So I haven't really done it, but I use those, their use or not, whether they are using it or not. And I really didn't find any difference when I did the analysis. I didn't find any impact of insecticide in my coffee plantation. But the study has shown that in the same landscape, the insecticide usage has reduced the species richness. But the reason could be due to the method of applying of insecticide or the amount of insecticide that is applied in a study, which is generally dusted on the coffee beans, which I too have seen them. But from the few coffee plantations which I had sampled, just have come across, they spread out the insecticide as a like white sheet on the whole ground. So you can't see the ground at all, it's just completely white. So those coffee plantations might really reduce the species.
Sandur, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
It was a very nice presentation.
Thank you, sir.
I just was curious to ask about the differences of diversity, between crops of a particular type. For example, forest and mountain and all of these. Did you see any sort of differences between those sites? Within each subclass of site, which you have sort of classified, in terms of diversity of
Yeah, I mean,
some of the sites which you have whereabouts are very, very high. Sites are very whereabouts are very small. And there is a lot of sites who actually have a lot of variability. So the next question would be what causes that variability? See that there's like things that are not on that site or matrix. You get the question?
yeah. Can you just repeat the question again, sir? Yes.
So the first part was how much availability do you see within each class or sites which you categorize, right? That is one. And some sites are really they have high availability. Forest may have high availability depending on the sort of plot you selected. Okay, sort of project you laid on a forest. Say you laid it on a forest that was laid on a forest that was much deeper inside, or a forest that was less isolated, or larger chunk of forest. So I mean, how do you capture that? How do you account for that variability?
So the variability was highest in, let's say, was in both forest and native shade coffee plantations. Because in native shade coffee plantations, there was one site which had just 17 species, and the other remaining sites were like having around 26, 27 species. So few sites, like even forest had real low, one site with high number, one site was very low number. So there are few sites where there is a higher variability, and some of these sites were not having that much higher variability also.
Comment, I want to comment is that